It's Saturday night. Welcome to the Jonathan Ross Show. Thank you, Ali. Thank you, everyone. We'll see more of Ali Goulding later on. Hey, I'm excited. Is anyone else excited about the new James Bond movie, Skyfall? You excited? And how great is it? The theme song has been released by Adele. Have you heard that? It's Adele. I listened to it. I thought it was great for the first 30 seconds, but then James Corden comes in, cuts her off and makes you listen to Blur. And I'm genuinely looking forward to Skyfall. I can't wait to see the next Bond girl, because the last one was the Queen, of course. Well, to give her a Bond name, octogenarian pussy. I apologise, Your Majesty. There have been allegations that Skyfall has too much product placement. I read in the papers that, for instance, instead of martini, Bond is drinking beer. He's drinking Heineken. And it gets worse than that. Have a look at the new Russian supervillain. Yes, Mr. Bond. Luckiest tourists of the week, I think, were the ones on a safari bus. How lucky were these people when they looked out the window and they saw this creature rarely seen in the wild? There you go. David Beckham in his pants. Or to give him his Latin name, Homo erectus. Although, of course, you can't see from that angle. I'm sure you're all aware of photobombing. You know what photobombing is? I'll do it again, and let's pretend we do. Do you know what photobombing is? Yes! That was maybe too much, I'll be honest with you. It's when you're taking a picture of someone and someone pops up in the background and does something silly. It's like this kind of thing. There's an example of photobombing right there. It's an unfortunate situation. OK, here's another one. Lovely fern, enjoying a trip to the shops. Well, this, I think, is the best example I have ever seen. Check this out. There's a stingray getting involved. Look at that. Right? Although when I first saw it, I thought those poor girls having their picture taken, and then Adrian Childs has jumped in. It's like, you know, it's... we've got a packed show for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, including some fabulous live music from Ellie Goulding. There she is. Thank you, Ellie. OK, let's have a look and see who else is on my show tonight. My first guests are the stars of the all-conquering X Factor. It's Nicole Scherzinger, Gary Barlow... and... Dermot O'Leary!
Oh, that's too short.
We build the tension. We build the tension. Not long enough.
No, come on, man.
Dermot, I want a big hug when you come out here.
Getting one, big guy, don't worry.
That's what he does. And you've got to promise no dancing, OK?
No promises.
We were going to have all 4 judges on, OK? We had all 4 judges booked, but 2 couldn't make it. I want to just check this is right. Talisa is filming late tonight. Is that right, guys?
I believe so. I think Louis at the hairdresser's.
Yeah. I heard he was picking up from the dry cleaners. Nicole, how lovely to see you.
Hello.
The lovely Nicole Scherzinger, ladies and gentlemen. Nicole, you know, how many people have been watching The X Factor? You know some of the characters on it, because Nicole was the one who put Rylan through. OK?
Don't we love a Rylan now?
Well,
come on.
Have you been standing too near the track when Lewis is racing? What's going on with your ears?
He's grown a lot in the competition. It's not just about singing, you know, so...
I'm sure he'd be thrilled to hear that.
He's got a good voice, and he's bringing it, he's bringing it.
I love him, and I love his snood. That's the thing he's wearing over his head. That's not a euphemism. OK. My next guest is the nation's favourite brain box. It is the fabulous Mr. Stephen Fry, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. What, who? Large as life and twice as handsome. Now, Stephen, it's lovely to have you here. You've been away. I know you're here in the UK, and we're going to talk about your play at the moment, but you've been filming the second part of the Hobbit series of films.
That's right. Or what may now turn out to be the 3rd part, or indeed the 4th or 5th. They seem to be stretching it out into infinity, but it was a small book that's become 3 films, and I'm not in the 1st, which is being released through Christmas, but I think I'm in the 2nd. I'm going back next year to do another couple of months on it, so it may be for the rest of my life. I will be well, do send me Scott's porridge oats and, you know, peanut butter and British food, if you can.
Well, that's all we have time for. shortest question I've ever asked someone. 20 minutes. Stephen Fry, ladies and gentlemen. OK, my next guest is one of the biggest-selling music artists in the world. It is the fabulously talented and very beautiful Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. Hi. Hello, Taylor. Hey, you know, while touring the world, I want to check this with Taylor, you've learned a little bit of different languages so you can talk to the fans in, I believe, Japanese, Korean, Italian, Spanish, German, le français aussi, I believe.
Well, I can say like 4 things in each one of those languages.
If I was to choose one at random, then, what would you say in Japanese?
Arigato, hi, moria gateru.
Wow.
And then you go like, yeah.
What does moria gateru mean?
Means, are you having a good time?
Yeah.
So you say hi, which is yes.
Hi.
If you are, I don't know if you are during this conversation. So that's presumptuous.
Sukoshi. So you do speak, so really, if we were to say you're not fluent, but you could say you speak like 6 or 7 or 8 languages?
Like a few words in each. Do not give me credit for that.
No, that's pretty good. I want to ask Stephen how it feels to be the Alan Davis in the room right now.
I know, I'm completely squashed by her brilliance. I once undertook to try and learn... I once undertook to try and learn because you're worth it in lots of languages. And om dat je waard het ben is, for example, Dutch for because you're worth it, which is, it's a nice thing to say to Dutch people, you know, when you buy them a drink or something. Om dat je waard het ben. It surprises them. So I would recommend that. I once knew the word for ashtray in a lot of language. Staphylococcus in Greek. I don't know why you waste money on the studio. It's fun doing the show here.
Just save it, ladies and gentlemen. That's our show there. Right, we've got Taylor, we've got the X Factor guys, we've got the fabulous Stephen Fry. Wow. I'll show you this, though, before we get on, because have you been enjoying the pop sensation, he's known as a Korean act, I think he's from LA mainly, Psy doing the Gangnam Style, you know, the... OK. Well, it's #1 now, I believe. It's the #1 video on YouTube as well. I think you've all seen it. If you haven't, just have a quick look at this. This is a reminder. I love Gangnam.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
OK, so, we love that, but this week I made a discovery that it is just as good, if not better, without the music. Take a look.
Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam.
I think maybe it's even better. OK, it's time to get my first guests out. They have the future of pop music in their hands, or at the very least, the Christmas #1. It is, from the X Factor, Nicole Scherzinger, Gary Barlow and Dermot O'Leary. Sit down. Come on, sit. Come on, sit. Come on, sit down. Wow. Gary, you look fabulous and handsome as always. Dermot, you look as sophisticated. There's your next James Bond right there. But Nicole, that skirt, my God, that's about as tight as a skirt can be, isn't it?
Thank you.
How do you get yourself in and, more importantly, out of something like that?
I wiggle myself in.
Wow. So congratulations, all of you, because the series has been great. Hasn't X Factor been great so far this year? Some real finds, some great funny moments, some kind of really lovely emotional moments as well, of course. You're now onto the live shows. Is that easier? Is that harder? Do you prefer them? Would you rather it be still the kind of early stages? Gary, let's start with you.
Yeah, it's like another show starts, really, when the live shows start. It goes into another gear, and I think it gets more exciting, actually.
OK. Nicole, you like the live performances more?
I like the live performances because, you know, we get to see them perform in the moment with a real audience. But I find myself, like, getting, like, weirded out a little because everybody's so loud, and then I'm speaking and I'm like, what? Oh, my God, what's going on? It's crazy. It's chaos, but it's exciting.
And Dermot, you actually get something to
get to
do
do
now.
something.
Yeah, because in the other shows, really, it's basically you hug people and say
Sort of
sorry.
just a pop music social worker, really. I'm just sort of going, all right, sorry about that. So, yeah, no, it's great to be actually doing something.
Remember those dreams you had? They've gone. Have a hug instead. OK, so let's talk about the different kind of groups you've got to look after, first of all, and who all your favourites are. Because, of course, Nicole, you have got the boys.
Yes.
OK. Louis has got the groups, I believe. Tulisa has the girls. And you have no chance. Because, of course...
That is not true.
But they haven't won since... Is it Series 1 that one of the oldies won? Is that right?
That was a piece of information I didn't know until now, so now I am worried. So that was Steve... is it
Brookstein, yeah.
Brokenstein?
Steve Brookstein.
Yeah.
It's not Steve Brokenstein.
No, no.
It's not like a lumbering Frankenstein. It's Brokenstein!
I think this is the thing that historically through this competition, it has been the joke category. But, you know, if you think the over 28s, you look at most of the singers out there, you know, Beyonce, Rihanna, they'd be overs. I just...
Rihanna's not over 28, is she?
Is she not? No. Let me redo that.
Well, Nicole, you're 17,
We're
right?
reminded of that when she came
Rihanna's 15, I think.
Sorry, Rihanna. Sorry, Rihanna.
Yeah, she's not.
I'd just squeeze into the overs. I'd just be an over.
You're what, are you 44 or 45 now?
Stop it. 41.
You're 41?
Yeah.
You're not bad for 41. You'd be better for 45. He looks great. He looks great. And I know you have real discipline. And so I know you enjoy working for that. But are you a bit of a bully to the others? Does he keep an eye on what you guys are eating?
The strangest thing about what Gary does is we'll sit down and Gary will have his own dinner. But I always say to Gary, and I know sort of what I want for dinner by about 11 o'clock in the morning. I say, oh, I feel like I'm a fish guy now, do you know what I mean? Whereas I always say to Gary, what are you having? And he'll go, I have no idea. As the plate arrives and as he starts to fork it into his mouth, so you have no idea what you're going to eat, do you?
No.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
You know what? Because he's like the Terminator, really. He's focused on no, yes, eat, listen. He's like that. He's like, it's all business with you guys.
He's not so picky about his red wine, though. He likes the little vino galazzo.
Any red wine.
Any red wine?
Yeah. Picky with food, not with drink.
So, because you do, clearly, I've seen the shows, you clearly get drunk during the shows sometimes. I think we've all seen it. That's right, isn't it, Nicole?
That's on the handle.
He has it in a teacup, doesn't he? Because you see the teeth go a funny colour by the end. It's either wine or Ribena.
You know what? That is actually slightly true. Because, no, I don't drink during the ITV1 show, but as we flip to ITV2, and I realise less people are watching, my tea arrives and it has got red wine in it. Wow.
And this is Jaeger bombing it for the second show.
Now, let me just talk about some of the other characters, because what we all love about the early stage of the X Factor, I think, we love seeing the new talent wife. We also see the people who maybe shouldn't be there, who maybe you think maybe their friends would have said to them, well, what are you thinking? And they're still up there. Do you have a favourite of the kind of the more eccentric?
Are you talking about Jerry Halliwell?
Well, OK, if you want to go that way. Well, you had two mad old ladies. You had Joey and Mel B. They were both kind of...
Well, that was the funny thing this time, because we didn't have a fourth judge at the start of it. Yeah. And so we had a succession of guest judges who came. But it was great fun, because we really did have the crazy to the beautiful. So...
let me ask you about Mel B then, and let me ask you about Joey. Mel B, a lot of people criticised Mel B and said she was too harsh. She was a little bit too, not dismissive, but maybe a bit too cold. I mean, even when she turned down the old guy who was singing, I don't know if you remember that, and even Dermot, I think you said... What did you say?
She has no heart.
Yeah. No, I think you said, where's her soul, didn't you? That's the old fella who came up when his wife was waiting backstage, and, yeah, sure, he wasn't going to go all the way in the competition, but, you know, it was a lovely moment, and Mel B just...
She's like a Dementor, isn't she? She's got But, you know, I really enjoyed her on the show.
I did too.
Because I think, especially when there's a guest judge, I think they feel sometimes compelled to say yes to everyone. That's happened a few times, I think, don't they?
Because they're not going to be responsible down the line, I guess, so...
Whereas she just went, I thought it was boring. And then you said to her backstage, did you really... And she go, oh, yeah, like watching paint dry. So she was great, wasn't she, Ken?
It was great. It actually gave me a holiday for a few days, because it comes down the line, I'm usually the one who gives the bad news, as everyone else is sort of dreaming. It was OK, yeah, we can see the potential in that. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen, mate. But Mel was doing that for me, so I was really enjoying myself. I was going, that was amazing.
I tell you what, this one's tough, and you haven't seen enough of it yet, because on...
Well, show us some more then, Nicole.
There are moments. There was a great moment in the boot camp show when someone said, "Do you mind me asking why I didn't get through?" And she said, "Because your audition wasn't good." And as they walked off, she went, "I'll tell you why. Your pitch was off." I was like, "Don't, me and
For a moment, when you were doing that, I thought I was in Sex and the City for a moment. We've been talking about Jerry, and I got the feeling that you got on very, very well.
I love her.
With Jerry. Let's just remind ourselves of that, let's face it, raw sexual chemistry.
Right now, thank you very much. I need somebody with a human touch.
Definitely got potential.
Thank you.
There's barely a voice amongst you, actually.
Can I just... Sorry to interrupt.
I'm talking, Jerry.
Sorry.
I'm talking, love.
Not everybody in Take That could sing.
Hey, Jerry, not everybody in the Spice Girls could sing.
Okay.
Should we have a vote?
Yes.
It's a no from me.
Gary, when I first found out I could not sing, I can sing now. 2 of your members could not sing.
Jerry, don't even go there.
You had 5.
I want to start a fight.
Hey, I admire your self-control because, let's face it, we all know, I think we know, Jerry didn't have the strongest voice in the Spice Girls.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, and so when she said, in the beginning, I couldn't sing, I could see you thinking...
Do you know what? I've known Jerry for a long time. She is a sweetheart, but I think she arrived that day thinking, I've got a job at last. And she really went for it. She did, she went for it. And the producers were loving it and telling her to go more, and of course, there's the result right there.
OK, but it was fun, it was memorable, it kind of makes the show, it keeps the show fresh and interesting and exciting. Dermot, you love the Spice Girls?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't, right? I mean,
You have a favourite?
My favourite always fluctuated from Scary. Do you remember they did that great face cover, the Face magazine? And they had some great pictures on it.
I'm too young to remember.
Oh, we had that when I was at university. We had that sort of up in my wall. So
Hold on, you had it up in your bedroom?
Yeah.
Above your bed?
Next to.
And you were holding it up with one hand all that time? Nicole, I forgive him for being so rude.
I think Baby's probably my favourite.
OK, Baby Spice.
I like
Let's
Scary Spice.
talk about, then, Ryland. Because he looks like a very sweet guy, he looks like a very emotional guy, he's a funny guy. Is he, and this is something I heard all you judges say at various times about various people, and you're the one who has to kind of, hug them afterwards, is he emotionally strong enough for what's about to happen?
Yeah, he's emotionally strong enough. What's so great about him is that he's so lovable behind the cameras. Everybody falls in love with him, and he's entertaining to all of us. He's got us laughing and stuff, but then when it's time to work, he has the eye of the tiger in him.
He's got a pretty good voice as well, I think. I mean, I know
He's
it'll
got a
probably
great
get better.
voice. It's been growing, and he's a performer. And what I was saying earlier was it's not just about singing. We all know that he doesn't want to be the next Whitney. He wants to be a dance pop artist. But he's got his own sparkle and his own shine to him, and the X Factor is having that.
Where are you from, girlfriend? Where are you from in America?
Well, I was born in Hawaii. And then I grew up in Kentucky.
Well, that's you got the southern twang going on right there. Huh?
And I just moved here, so I'm kind of jet lagged, so I kind of sound
What
like
do you mean you moved in your jet lag? Well, how long does it take you to get over? Like 4 years? It's like 3 nights.
No, I just moved here like
So you
2
moved
nights
here to
ago.
be with Mr. Hamilton?
Well, he doesn't live in the UK.
OK, so you've moved here to be away from him.
But he's...
permanent.
Unfortunately, everyone's like, oh, you guys are going to be together all the time, but the races and the live shows
But are you together right now?
Yeah, we're together. He's
How
going
long
to come
for? Are
in.
you going to get married?
I don't know, you have to ask him.
Oh, I asked him, he said, ask you. Let's have a look at Ryland. Now, when we were talking about Ryland just then, unless you have trapped wind, Gary was making a bit of a face. When I said he's got a good voice, Gary looked at me and sort of went...
Come on, Nicole, you've got ears.
He's got a good voice. No, hey, no clapping. Do not encourage.
Let's have a little look-see at the potential superstar.
Potential winner.
The potential winner, the potential Christmas #1, and if it is, you only have yourselves to blame. And you can just sense Gary is jealous that he isn't mentoring him.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's jealousy.
exactly
It is.
what it is.
Shows you in a very bad light.
That's it.
This is Rylan in action.
Rylan, it's such a big risk that I have to take it. And you are in my
That's Rylan. We're going to take a break. I'll be chatting with Nicole and Dermot and Gary. More after this. Don't go away. Welcome back. Look at them. Lovely people. They're still all here from the X Factor. We were just talking about Rylan, of course, and you were saying that was that edited down?
Yeah, that went on for about an hour or so.
And then he came out and you had to calm him down as well.
Like I said, I couldn't understand anything he was saying, and he was just going... I love the fact he was using that cushion as a handkerchief.
Yeah. Hold on, what's that in the green room? What's going on back there? Stephen, is everything okay?
Calm down, Rylan.
Oh, no, it's all right.
No. You're okay. Look, it's all right.
It's okay, you're through. He got through.
Oh, look, it's okay. Don't be afraid. Don't be... Oh, my God. It's all right. It's all right. You can deal with it, all right? Don't vomit on me. All right? Oh, God. Use the cushion. Have a bigger cushion. There you go. Just hold it there.
Stephen, yeah, hold it there, Stephen.
Yeah, there you are. It's all right.
OK. So Simon Cowell, remember him?
Yeah.
He's not here anymore. Is he in touch? Is he keeping an eagle eye on things? Because he's a stickler for attention to detail, isn't he?
He's the overlord, isn't he? You always know he's watching.
What's your relationship like with him? Do you have to do
You
everything
have that
he
thing
says?
when your phone goes and you see Simon's name, there's always a shudder, isn't there, that goes through? Because invariably it's always 2 a.m. You think, it can't be good news. And then it will always be, darling, how are you? So
Mine starts with, hello, trouble.
Sounds good. He is tough, but he's a good boss. He's a fair boss. He's honest.
And who kind of is in charge now? I know, Gary, you'd like to think you were running the show.
I don't think that at all.
And I know Nicole, a woman, has a way of getting her way if she wishes. And Dermot, you're kind of now probably got the most screen time. Sure. You could probably steer it. For example, who has the best dressing room now? Who has Simon's dressing room? That would be the sign-up.
I have. Did you know that?
Do you?
Yeah.
That's your answer.
Wow.
I have Simon's dressing room.
Does he know?
This is my first year. I was in what we called me and my entourage called the bedsit. I think my makeup artist called the bedsit. But this year, yeah, I just got given, you know,
You got the
the golden key.
And you deserve it.
I went in and I checked it out and christened the place, and it's in good shape. Who wouldn't? Come on.
When you say christen the place, a Spice Girl poster wasn't involved, was it? OK, so, hey, by the way, Dermot, I should say congratulations. You just got married last month.
Yeah.
How lovely. Look how beautiful with the lovely D right there. Congratulations. How was the ceremony? How was the event itself? How did you enjoy it?
The whole thing was fantastic. It was, you know, it's just a great day, and we went and I was saying to you earlier, we went on honeymoon, and we went to Italy, and we walked into a hotel in Rome. We dumped our bags, and we came downstairs to the courtyard, and had the strangest situation where David Moyes, the Everton manager, was sat over there, and Morrissey was sat over there. I'd not met Moyes before, but we sort of looked at each other, and so I thought, I've got to go and say hello now. So I said hello to a really lovely, charming man. And I interviewed Morrissey once before, and it had gone spectacularly badly.
It didn't go well for you, did it?
But I just thought, I've got to go and say hello, because it'd be rude otherwise. And I went over and I said, to Steve, I'm going to go and speak to Morrissey. Don't come over. So I went over and I said, you know, it's lovely to see you. And he said these words. He went, really? I'm sure you'd say the same thing to Barry Manilow or Gary Barlow. And I said, no, it is. And I said, Morrissey, I'm here on my honeymoon. He goes, oh, it won't last. But then, what turned it around, because he's Morrissey, and you sort of just go, that's beautiful and brilliant. It won't last. These things never do.
Is that true?
Yeah.
OK, let me ask you to do something here. I'm going to ask you to do something here, and this is quite serious. This could be, potentially could be quite serious. I'm going to give you all an envelope within which there is a piece of paper. There's a Sharpie. You will have seen them before. I'm sure, Nicole, you've signed lots of autographs with these.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Sharpie, Dermot. OK, so, inside there is a blank piece of paper. I want you to write on that piece of paper, and we will open this. We have a Christmas special on this show just before Christmas. And so I will say these on the Christmas special. I want you to write down who is going to win, who's going to be the Christmas #1 from the X Factor. OK? And you don't have to choose your own acts because I'm going to keep them safe. So we won't embarrass you, you know. But scribble down now.
And then write our names on here.
Just, well, write your name on.
Yeah.
You don't write your name on?
I'm pretty, yeah.
Don't see it. Oh, don't lick it, you dirty bugger.
Your name on the
Don't
back.
pass all
think
your
so.
germs around here. What's wrong with you, Barlow? I'll just pass them over. Nicole, you can lick yours if you want. OK. So Dermot says...
No, don't, because I'll get in so much trouble.
Ah. Why would any of you trust me? Wow. Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Two of them have gone for the same person.
You can't grass me up, because I'll get...
Why not? What are you going to do about it? Let's have a chat later on about that spare judging seat. Hey, it's so much fun having you all on the show. Thank you so much. But what a great series of the X Factor. I think this is going to be one of the best and one of the most memorable. And I get the feeling that we're going to see a star from this, and, you know, so many great stars come from it. We're going to see a star who's going to be around for a long while.
I agree.
And I think there'll be quite a few, don't you? Because it's not always the ones who come first, of course, who go on to be, you know, have a huge career.
It feels like a big year for talent this year.
You really found some good people there. Of course, you know, one of the high points for the show is seeing how masterfully Dermot wraps his arms around people. Here's a little montage of Dermot.
Come on, man.
Great, there you go. Right, did that actually hurt?
Yeah, it was just below the eye. It was a small puncture wound.
Wow. Well, what you don't see is down below. He had the same thing on as a codpiece. No wonder. How great to have you on the show. Thanks for being here. Dermot, ladies and gentlemen, Nicole, and, of course, the magnificent Gary Barlow. We're going to take a break. Don't go away. I'll be talking to Stephen Fry after these adverts. Welcome back. OK, let's get my next guest out. He can write, he can act, he can direct, he can host TV shows, he can do just about anything. I would call him a Renaissance man if only I could pronounce it. Will you please welcome Mr. Stephen Fry? Stephen Fry. Well, thank you for comforting young Ryland back there.
Well, it was just a pleasure, bless him. A little overexcited.
Hey, we have matching facial foliage.
Yeah, and
right
suits and hair, and I nearly thought about it, wearing a green tie.
We could be brothers.
Yeah, we both decided against the Just for Men option as well.
Yeah, I'm letting mine go great there. Do you trip? You have a little zzz to keep it down?
George Michael, yes.
George Michael. You don't do the thing where people have a cardboard shape over to trim it to a... Have you ever seen that?
No, you can do that.
You can do that. I've never tried it. What about downstairs? Do you do the chest,
No,
the
sir.
armpits? Don't you?
No, I don't.
You're fully flushed.
But there's not much there, to be honest. I'm not a Sean Connery. I don't
You're
have
not
a hairy
a Sean
back or
Connery.
anything.
What about in the underpants department?
there's all that needs to be there.
OK. OK, now, I went to see Stephen in a play this week. And I sometimes am remiss in my duties and don't necessarily always go and see every film or every play or read every book. I try my best to. And I was a little reluctant because, of course, it's Shakespeare. Yeah. Stephen is currently to be found as Malvolio in the Bard's 12th night at the fabulous Globe Theatre over in South London, where they rebuilt the Globe. Yeah. And I was a little, but I thought, no, I'll go because I love Stephen and I want to see him perform. And I said to Stephen afterwards, and I'm not just saying this, I have never enjoyed a theatrical experience as much. It completely blew me away. I've been evangelical about it ever since. I've been telling everyone, oh, you have to go and see this production. It's incredible. Yeah. And I imagine you're getting this kind of feedback from people.
It has been simply extraordinary. It is an incredible play in its own right. It's a remarkable production, I think. It's being put on the moment at the Globe Theatre, and when they're moving to the Apollo in the West End.
So the Globe, of course,
well,
it's
the Globe.
Open air, and it's as Shakespeare intended, but it's not just in that way that it's as he intended, is it?
There's an audience of standees called groundlings in front of you who are literally standing all around you. You're in a sort of square and they're all around you, known as the yard, and then there are 3 galleries of people sitting. And if it rains right on the groundlings, but it doesn't rain on the actors because there's a sort of wooden canopy over us. But it's exactly as Shakespeare's Globe was, as far as scholars can tell, in every detail. And that includes our costumes. I mean, my hat is made of hair fur, the fur of a hare, and everything's hand-stitched. There's no machine stitching, no Velcro, no zips. Everything's made.
But it's not just in the costume that it's as Shakespeare intended, of course, because all of the female parts...
Exactly, are played by men. And one of those men is, quite frankly, I think, probably the greatest stage actor in the world today. He's a phenomenon. He's got Mark Rylance. He doesn't do anything except stage, so you wouldn't know him from television and film. But if you're a theatre goer, you'll know that he won the Tony Award for his performance of Jerusalem. He's won so many awards.
Every award going
for Boeing, American Farce. He's playing Richard III, and he's playing the Countess Olivia in this. And I honestly tell you, if there's no other reason to go to the Apollo to see the play, it's to see this man. He really is phenomenal.
You know, I can't recommend it highly enough to the extent where I would resist going to see Shakespeare whenever possible. And I've seen performances I quite liked and moments I quite like, but I like so much, I'm going back to see it again. Oh, yes. And it's changed my mind. I don't think Shakespeare's a dick at all anymore. I can actually see what people have said. I used to think it's all nonsense. You know, I see it's all lovies and nonsense, and they're just going on about it, and it's all, you know... But it's great.
It's simply phenomenal.
And the people, you said the groundlings, they stand for 3¼ hours to watch this, and no one looks bored.
No.
OK, let's talk about The Hobbit, because everyone's excited about this. Lord of the Rings, what a spectacular achievement, what a remarkable success. There were many people who said this can't possibly work, and it probably exceeded their expectations. Yes. The Hobbit, the first of the new films, is out next year, I believe. At the moment, they're planning to turn that small book into 3 films.
Yes, they are.
And I can understand why. You can see he's in love with that mythology and those kind of characters. And you will appear in the second of the 3, I believe.
In the second, I'm not sure about the third, because I don't know how it's been structured. Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens and Peter Jackson, who write the scripts, have done an extraordinary job of basically sort of magnifying and elongating the whole, what Tolkien called, I think, his legendarium, this sort of world of creatures and their languages and everything else. And as most people know, it's all shot down in New Zealand, which is an extraordinarily exciting place to...
I've never been. Is this your first time there?
No, it's not. No, I've filmed there for wildlife documentaries and various other things.
Of course.
But it is... It's like... I mean, they're like Australians in New Zealand, only with best respect to Australians, without the kind of attitude, if you know what I mean. They're a lot softer and sweeter. And in fact, I remember meeting an Australian just after I got back from Wellington, and he said, "Oh, how did you find New Zealand?" I said, "Oh, it's just a wonderful place. I loved Wellington. And they're so nice." He said, "Yeah, but don't you think they're too nice?" And I thought, only an Australian would think someone was too nice.
Too nice. Now, I wouldn't have had you down as an extreme sports kind of person.
Oh, yes.
But I've been told that we have footage of you...
We had a bit of time off, you see, and the South Island promises these extraordinary, spectacular activities, one of which they kind of invented, which I took part in. And I was the last person to believe I would actually make this leap of faith.
And this is, of course...
The bungee jump.
So
it's the original bridge from which the first bungee jumps were commercially available.
Now, I wouldn't do that.
Well, you say that. I would have sworn to heaven that I wouldn't, but I somehow thought, well, I'm here... I was a guest of the wonderful Sam Neill, who has a vineyard very close by, and he said, "You've got to bungee jump. Everybody bungee jumps when they come to, you know, down to the South Island." And I said, "Well, yeah, everybody, but not Stephen. Stevens don't do things like that." And he said, "Yes." He sort of drove me off to the place and this bridge, Hackett Bridge, where it first happened. And you find yourself... It's like a dream, you know, one of those nightmares where you find yourself where you've always got a choice, but you keep going, "Oh, I'll say no later." And then you're walking on the bridge, and I'll pull out of it in a minute, and then you're getting roped up. I'll pull out of it, and then it's around your ankle. I'll pull out of a bit, and then you go, "Whee!" And then the extraordinary thing was, the moment I was finished, I was sort of hooked up and put in a boat. I said, "I want another go, I want another go, I want another go." And I immediately had... In fact, I had a 3-way with these 2 Welsh girls.
Hang on.
As it were. It was one of those spectacularly odd things that happens in life, was that you get weighed, because they have to know your weight, because the absolutely crucial thing, so you don't drown, it's over a river, is that they get you just... They can ask you if you want to go into the water, kiss the water, or just above the water. And they do this according to your weight, the length of, and elasticity of the rope.
What did you choose?
So I chose just to go above the water for the first one, and to kiss it for the second. Anyway, the girl who was weighing me, I said, just on a sort of conjecture, trying to be Professor Higgins, I said, are you from Port Talbot, by any chance? She said, yes, I am. How do you know that? I said, well, you sound so like Michael Sheen. Well, I'm his cousin. I said, that's ridiculous. And so I texted Michael Sheen, and I said, I'm just talking to your cousin from Port Talbot, and said her name. And, and I said, she's, you know, organising a bungee jump. And he texted back immediately, well, don't leave any clothes or personal belongings. They're thieving at swine, that family. Only Welsh cousins would talk about each other like that.
So you took her with you?
And she had a North Walesian friend, and they said, can we come with you? So I went on a second one.
Let's have a look at a clip.
3, 2, 1.
Wow. You didn't commit.
No, I didn't, did I?
That's the first time I've seen someone not...
No.
Because people normally dive, but you kind of...
Second time I dove, as they say in America, but no, that time I just looked like a sack of, you know, I looked like a bin liner full of yoghurt.
I guess terrifying. Terrifying on the way down, I guess.
Well, it kind of, it's so exhilarating, I can't tell you.
Wow.
You got such a natural high. I suddenly understand all these dangerous sports clubs and free running and all that kind of thing.
So would you do it again, do you think?
Oh, well, in a heartbeat, in a New York minute, as they say.
You know, I've got to mention, Stephen has a new series starting. I'm not sure, when does Gadget Man begin on Channel 4?
I think it'll be next year. I can't guarantee it, because we're still filming it, so I'd imagine it'll be next year. It might be the end of this year.
I had a lovely day. I was invited by Stephen to take part in Gadget Man, and this is where you look at all kinds of new, right across the spectrum.
But the different programmes sort of emphasise different things that we do in life that might need gadgets. Transport, you know, for example, was the one we chose with you.
What we spent most of the day doing was stuck together in a very small electric vehicle.
Yeah, the Renault Twizzly, I think it was called, or something. It was a tiny little electric car with big wheels and no roof.
Yeah.
It was a quite damp day.
You would have thought that one of us wouldn't get in on the run, but we're both fairly big gentlemen. We both squeezed in there, and we were in there for about, what, 5 hours?
Oh, yeah, you were in the back, which was really tough. We visited the Savoy Hotel.
Well, this is what I loved about it. You know, and you might think being stuck in a small electric vehicle all day with no legroom would be purgatory, but no, it was a delight because, of course, you're with one of the greatest storytellers in the UK. And when we got to the Savoy, you told me a story of such an extraordinary meeting. Yeah. I couldn't quite believe it. Would you mind...
No, I'll share that with you. For reasons we won't go into, because it's too long, I was, and this sounds like the most appalling thing, way to start a story, but in about 1989, I happened to be living at the Savoy Hotel. Sorry, but that's... anyway, so you get to know the staff, and the link men, as they're called, the fellows in the tall top hats that we might think of as doormen or concierges, link men. One of them said to me one day, he said, Mr. Fry, are you a fan of Frank Sinatra by any chance? I said, I am. I think he's an absolute genius. He said, oh, he's coming to stay in a couple of days. I thought, wow. God, I'm in the same hotel as Frank Sinatra. And then one day I was coming back quite late one night, and the same linkman was on duty. He said, follow me. And they'd roped off the American bar, famous American bar in the Savoy. And there in the corner, sitting on his own, with a bottle and a glass of bourbon and a cigarette on, was Frank Sinatra. And the linkman said, Mr. Sinatra, this is Mr. Stephen Fry, one of our regular guests, who's a promising young actor. And Sinatra pointed to a chair and said, sit down, kid. He called me kid. He called me kid. I thought, I'm in heaven. And then, in about 30 seconds later, 20 people came in. And so I only had about 30 seconds with him, but it was still marvellous. So a couple of days later, I see the same link man, and I said to him, I have to say, I will thank you for the rest of my life. You introduced me to... I can say to anybody, I met Frank Sinatra. He said, oh, it's fine. I said, is he still here? He said, no, it's quite funny, actually. He just left. As he was going, he pressed this huge roll of money on me. It's £20 notes, a great big roll of money. I said, thank you very much, Mr. Sinatra. It's very kind. He said, tell me, is that the biggest tip you ever got? And I looked down at it, and I said, well, no, as a matter of fact, it isn't, Mr. Sinatra. And he looked most put out. And he said, well, who gave you a bigger one? I said, you did, sir, last time you stayed. You realise how brilliant these guys are. Both went away happy. Sinatra thought, I'm still the most generous guy in the world. And he knew, the link man, the next time Sinatra stayed, if he did survive to stay another time, he'd get an even bigger tip.
Even bigger tip.
Yeah.
What a fabulous story. What marvellous company. Mr. Stephen Fry, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Great fun. Stephen Fry. Don't go away, join me after the break. I'll be talking to the fabulous Taylor Swift, and we have live music from Ellie Goulding, so stick around. Welcome back. it's time for my final guest tonight. She is one of the biggest music stars on the planet right now, and these are just a few of her massive global hits. Feel free to go crazy for Taylor Swift. Screaming Taylor Swift fans there. Lovely to have you here. Taylor Swift, ladies and gentlemen. Come and make yourself comfortable. Wow, now we have some young people in screaming every time your name is mentioned.
I know, I love that.
What's the name for the Swift fans? Because we had Justin Bieber on a few weeks ago, and his fans are called Beliebers.
I know.
What are your fans called?
They kind of named themselves, and they call themselves Swifties, which is so cute.
Swifties.
I thought it was cute.
Swifties. OK, well, I'd like to think I'm on my way to becoming a Swiftie.
Really? That's amazing. I've wanted to be on your show for so long.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody talks about it. They're like, Jonathan Ross is so lovely.
These would be French people, or what?
No.
OK, so you've just come from France, though, haven't you?
Yeah, actually, we were. I was in Paris doing a music video, and I got to go to a fashion show.
Wow, because it's Fashion Week over there, isn't it? Or it's just
Yeah.
been. OK, how was that?
It was beautiful, beautiful dresses, and yeah, I knew it was Fashion Week because I was going there for Fashion Week, but you don't realize, like, the models are all there.
Of course, because they would be for Fashion Week, but I suppose but you'd forget that on the way, don't you?
But, like, I didn't realize they were, like, they're all staying in the same hotels as like, people that aren't models.
Oh.
And,
Because you'd think they'd have one with just very thin doors and stuff like that, wouldn't you?
I don't know what I thought, or they, like, sleep on clouds or something. I don't know. But, like, I was going to the gym because I was trying to, like, run off the jet lag. I walk in, and there's a model.
Wow.
Like, a real one. And she's, like, on the treadmill, right? And she's running, like, faster than a racehorse would run. Like, I don't know, 80 miles an hour, probably.
Yeah, they can do that.
Yeah.
So she's top speed.
Top speed and not breathing heavy at all. She's like... And I'm on the elliptical, which is kind of like...
That's the lazy person's running machine, isn't it?
And I hate it. And you can see in my face that I hate it, and you can hear that I hate it, and I'm like... And she keeps running like that for, like, 30 minutes.
Wow.
And then she has this, like, Italian boyfriend come in, and he's, like, incredibly good-looking, and they're both good-looking, and he, I swear, leans over the bar of the treadmill, and they start making out while she's running this fast.
Wow. That's the most annoying woman on the planet, isn't it?
And I just wanted to be like, you win. You already won.
But look at you, there's nothing of you. You're like a model as well, and you've done modelling work, I guess, haven't you, Taylor?
No,
yeah,
no,
come
I
on.
haven't. That's nice of you. I can't run like they do.
Taylor, honestly, you're not bad looking. Honestly, I wouldn't just say that.
Thank you for saying that.
When you travel these places, do you have friends and family with you, or is it very much just a kind of a professional thing?
Well, I don't really see my family if I don't have them come along sometimes. So I'll be like, hey, Dad, you come on this trip. Hey, Mom, come on this trip. Hey, Austin, my brother who's in college, come on this trip. And he's like, no, I really don't want to. And I'm like, okay.
We had a picture there of you. That was you when you were, is that you 11 or 12?
That was actually singing a national anthem at an NBA game.
So you knew you had a voice, I guess. You just had to persuade the rest of the world. You had to get out there. So you were 11, 12 when you started. How long did it take you to get the interest from the business? How long before you got signed by someone?
I was like 14 when I got a publishing deal for my songwriting. But I mean, from the point when I was like 9 years old, I was obsessed with theater and children's theater. And I loved telling a story on stage, whether it was with acting or singing or performing. But it really got crazy when I started playing guitar when I was 12, and that's when I started writing songs. And that's kind of the point where it became all I wanted to do.
I know you write quite a lot about songs, and you don't necessarily go into specifics, but a lot of Taylor's songs are about breakups.
Yes.
And relationships.
Yes.
And you seem, if you don't mind me saying so, you seem to have had more than your fair share of breakups.
Yeah. There have been a few.
Who are you seeing at the moment?
I don't really talk about that. I just
Well, why
kinda...
not? What's wrong with you?
Be-
What, are you ashamed of him? What is he, a weird-looking fella?
Oh, no.
He's a good-looking boy.
No, I'm just... I mean, I don't really talk about my personal life because it's sort of like...
Goes boom.
It goes everywhere,
Yeah.
and then it gets turned into all these other things, and it's like, I would much rather my personal life be sung about. I think it sounds nicer that way, rather than me talking about it in some magazine article or something.
But if this guy you're with at the moment, say, if it turns out to be just a happy relationship, then that kind of ends...
Don't ask me that question. The question makes me so sad.
But you see, you're getting these great songs out of breakups.
Oh, come on.
Do you really want to be in a relationship?
No. Okay, this
I
is
think
like...
maybe you don't want a relationship for like 15 years. Get about 4 or 5 more albums out of Heartbreak, then settle down. Does that not make sense? That's a pretty good game plan for you, Taylor. You can thank me later.
Yeah.
OK. You must know, I guess, or you must have a feeling when you've written something. And we have, I know you're familiar with the guys who have this evening. Gary Barlow's written some of the best pop songs for the last 20 years in this country. He really has written some incredible songs. And I mean that, Gary, I really do. And you've written some great songs as well. And the new single... He doesn't, he always thinks... he always thinks I'm going to be mean after this, don't you?
Come in. Something's arriving.
Oh, sorry, I meant Robbie. Anyway. It's only... I didn't mean that. You made me do that. He's not cute. He's old enough to be your father.
No, I meant the flirtation.
Between me and Gary?
Yeah.
I know. I preferred you when you were cuddly. I felt less threatened. He's like a gazelle now. You know, he used to be 400 pounds.
I don't know if you're serious.
No, he was 400 pounds. We had him on the show once. We had to knock a wall down to get him out again. It's sick.
Are you 400? Is that the actual number?
He was 402.
You look great.
Thank you.
Things are going
you know,
well.
take that. Initially, it was just him. And then when he lost the weight, they had to get these other guys in, including a break dancer.
I'm coming back out in a minute.
I'm sorry, Gary, you know I am. Anyway, the new single... have you heard Taylor's new single? Anyone else? The minute you hear it, you know it's a hit. It's a great song.
Thank you so much for saying that.
It's a great song.
It's doing well. Things are good.
It's number 4 over here. I think it's even going to knock Gangnam off the top of the chart. Here's a taster. Immediately catchy. The first time you hear it, you're singing it. What a great song.
Thank you.
And that is about, I guess, a breakup. A specific breakup?
Yes. Not like a compilation of all of them.
No,
It was
because you've had a
just
few,
one.
as we've said. Which, the most recent one or one of the older ones? See, you could do that. Just store them all, and occasionally, when you need a breakup, go back to one of the old ones again.
I've thought about that.
Okay.
You just stockpile all the pain, and you just draw from it later.
Do you think, Taylor, that you... And I don't know whether you feel you have fallen in love, and I'm not going to ask that, but do you think that you do maybe get into a relationship too readily? Do you give too much of yourself too soon? Would that be why this keeps happening?
I don't know why people think that. People think that about me. That's like, I think...
Because you've had so many breakups, that's why. Why do you not know we think that?
I mean, I just think if you think too hard about it and it takes you a long time to fall in love with someone, you're not in love.
That's true. So the first, wow, this is great, and you do, and you're there in the moment.
Yeah.
That's a lovely thing.
Yeah, I have a lot of rules placed on my life, and I just choose not to apply rules to love.
Well, that's, I think, in a way, a very sane way to proceed, even though it does leave you open to, let's face it, more hit singles.
Yeah, that's the downside of it.
Stephen, don't you shake your head at me like a wise old puffin. How lovely to have you here. Taylor's new album, Red, is out, I think, on the 22nd of October. And there's a lovely photograph on the cover right there. A super talent and a great guest. Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Taylor Swift. Thank you so much. Thank you to all my guests tonight. Of course, Taylor Swift, Stephen Fry, Nicole, Dermot and Gary from The X Factor. Join me next week when I'll be joined by David Walliams, Stacey Solomon will be here, and Ed Sheeran, who I know who you know, will be chatting and performing live. But now to end the show with her fabulous new single, Anything Could Happen, it is Ellie Goulding.
Since we found out that anything could happen, 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 anything could happen. Oh yes. Yeah, I don't think I need you, you know. If we need is bad, the time we need is color. Now I've seen it through, and now I know the truth. That anything could happen, anything could happen, oh, anything could happen, anything could happen, anything could happen, anything could happen. I know it's gonna be, 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 I know it's gonna be. Oh, and I don't think I need you. And I don't think I need you. And I don't think I need but I don't think I need
Ellie Goulding.
Well, Paddy was back with a new series tonight if you want to see how they got on after the show, which is always the fun bit, isn't it? Let's be honest, take me out. The gossip is about to start over on ITV2.